Hey everyone, earlier today I finally saw Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. There was a argument. I was simply referring to it as Furiosa, as some people do, who the prequel to not just Fury Road, but the entire Mad Max canon as we know it, and I, for one, think it's absolutely spectacular to witness. I know that the numbers that they've been posting haven't been doing the best, but I will definitely state this right away as well. If you have seen this movie, great. If you haven't, I definitely recommend doing so as soon as you can. And and it definitely shows that there is still a market for a 148-minute epic of this scale. It's one of several directors who wanted to see a return to this kind of filmmaking, so he made one. And even though George Mills' also my grandfather, he still has quite the eye of spectacle, so let's begin. The story takes place over the span of at least 15 years as we see Furiosa taken from her home and for survive live in the wasteland, crossing paths with the a corrupt Dementis, played by Chris Hemsworth, who's really enjoying himself here as this absolute mad lad of a villain. And definitely, you can now officially say that Anya was the right call, Taylor Joy was the right call to make for playing this younger version of Furiosa. There was a brief consideration about digitally aging Charlize Theron, or heck, even using AI to do that, but fortunately, Miller refused, as did Theron, and I gather she also approved of Joy's casting, and definitely hopes that Anya is a real up and comer, and she does resemble like a young Charlize Theron. The way that they revealed her reaching that stage is actually quite incredible, and even pretty seamless with how when you even that parts of the movie. Won't get into too much spoiler territory, but there are her even younger self. When she's taken, and sub and payoff is used masterfully here. Here, everything from the motorbikes to even something simple as like a fruit pit. I won't be spoiling exactly how it takes root, which will give an idea of how much it threw me for a loop when I saw it. And like I often tend to do, I usually go for do this to show you the hope you're going to be in the exact same emotional wavelength I am when I watch stuff like this. It's definitely a film where you see every bit of the 160 million plus budget on the screen, and you're definitely going to be in for quite the ride more than one. And so it's definitely another one today like imagining if you would justify seeing on the biggest screen possible. Yeah. Though I do not know if or when we'll get that supposed Wasteland film. I am noticing that this movie incorporates a lot of ideas from that concept and how they handled familiar ideas such as the gas town, the bullet farm, and the Citadel. Oh, just one of the things the saga has excelled at over the years is how it depicts a societal breakdown, and that could culminate in even the whole concept of stability fading the legend and myth, and also makes sense that all the cars, including the ones they're able to throw together from spare parts they were able to unearth, are analog models. Not only is this consistent with the other movies they had in the 70s and 80s, the first one came out in 79, didn't come to States until 80, I believe. Unless I'm mistaken. And they're analog models like because they would show the war went nuclear at its peak. He would basically render all the digital all cars into glorified metal and fiberglass coffins. So there's that. And with that in mind, I mean, it is not short and visual spectacle, and much like our Fury Road managed to get on the ground floor and also have similar movies and shows whose have digital effects in a supporting role and focus mainly on doing much in camera practical action. I mean, definitely a lot of it just feels and looks very real. I mean, real cars, real people, real thrills. And yes, a lot of the imagery definitely earns the R rating. I mean, it would have already earned it on the violence alone, and definitely like how creative a lot of the action is staged. I mean, while previous ones had no share of, had no shortage of memorable moments, I really like how it manages to subvert our expectations, and even when it tries to take you one direction, another veers the opposite way. Hey, and that's the quality I've always appreciated about Miller as a filmmaker, no matter what he was working on, and even in the way that Furiosa eventually lost her arm, and actually he replaced it with the a prosthetic like diesel punk arm we saw in Fury Road. Actually, does make sense. I mean, won't go for all the minutia, but it's another kind of tell that Miller didn't really just start out as a filmmaker. He started out actually as a doctor, and the first Mad Max was inspired by a lot of the what he saw when treating car accidents and patients in Australia. So it definitely shows that the whole saga is much more than one person who was initially at Circle, or, who made some, shall we say, rather inappropriate voicemails to his ex and statements to LAPD. But that aside, even as someone who's skeptical of Firo when it first came out, it's another one of fictional work that my headspace has grown with the changing times. I mean, to grow more appreciation for it over each passing year. Here, I mean, and I believe this one can stand at peer with that. I might even like it a little bit more, if I'm being completely honest. And while the Garfiosa may not have quite been the Barbenheimer 2.0, a lot of people, including myself, were kind of being cheeky about. It still provides an interesting look at the landscape. I mean, I will acknowledge that while both Garfield and Mad Max may recognize recognizable brands, perhaps I know we're a bit too ambitious in trying to make that happen. And as for new ones that are currently on screens before I got on the plane on Monday, hey, it was either going to be this or the new Bad Boys, and I've been wanting to see this a lot longer, so I decided to get this out of the way first, finally. It, it's definitely has joined the list of my favorite films of the year so far, and I definitely give it a shiny and chrome 4 out of 4, like 5 out of 5. I've I really think that it's now my second favorite installment in the franchise. First is still the original Road Warrior, though. I mean, though I'll admit, I do have a soft spot for Beyond Thunderdome. Um, I'll also say that much as well. Anyway, this also will not be the only reimagining of a beloved IP I'll be talking about this weekend, especially before I take a brief trip to Kapaa, but I will still have stuff ready to go while I'm gone, so no worries there. I mean, and it's much like my original plan, just to take like the days off there. So anyway, it's all to say for now, and I will talk to you all again soon. Take care, everyone.